Donald Trump's life story from hotel developer to president. Long before he was a contender for the U.S. presidency, Donald Trump was America's most famous and colorful billionaire. Once considered a long shot, the 74-year-old is now President of the United States, approaching the end of a four-year term. Skepticism over his candidacy for the 2016 election had stemmed not only from his controversial platform on immigration and outrageous campaign style, but from his celebrity past. Yet the businessman had the last laugh when he defied all predictions to beat much more seasoned politicians in the Republican primary race. He then went a step further by winning the presidential election, one of the most divisive and controversial contests in living memory, against Democratic rival Hillary Clinton. Early in life, Mr. Trump is the fourth child of New York real estate tycoon Fred Trump. Despite the family's wealth, he was expected to work the lowest-tier jobs within his father's company and was sent off to a military academy at age 13 when he started misbehaving in school. After attending the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, he became favored to succeed his father when his older brother, Fred, chose to become a pilot. Fred Trump died at 43 from alcoholism, an incident that his brother says led him to avoid alcohol and cigarettes his entire life. Mr. Trump says he got into real estate with a small $1 million loan from his father before joining the company. He helped manage his father's extensive portfolio of residential housing projects in the New York City boroughs and took control of the company, which he renamed the Trump Organization, in 1971. His father died in 1999. "My father was my inspiration," Mr. Trump said at the time. The mogul shifting his family's business from residential units in Brooklyn and Queens to glitzy Manhattan projects. Mr. Trump transformed the rundown Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt and erected the most famous Trump property, the 68-story Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. Other properties bearing the famous name followed: Trump Place, Trump World Tower, Trump International Hotel and Tower, and so on. There are Trump Towers in Mumbai, Istanbul, and the Philippines. And Mr. Trump developed hotels and casinos, an arm of the business that has led to 4 bankruptcy filings for the businesses, not personal bankruptcy. He also built an empire in the entertainment business. From 1996 until 2015, he was an owner in the Miss Universe, Miss U.S.A., and Miss Teen USA beauty pageants. In 2003, he debuted an NBC reality television show called The Apprentice, in which contestants competed for a shot at a management job within Mr. Trump's organization. He hosted the show for 14 seasons, and said in a financial disclosure form that he had been paid a total of $213 million by the network during the show's run. He has written several books, and owns a line of merchandise that sells everything from neckties to bottled water. According to Forbes, his net worth is $2.5 billion, £1.9 billion. In September, the New York Times reported that despite his purported wealth, Mr. Trump paid just $750 in federal income tax both in 2016 and in his first year in the White House. The president dismissed the report as fake news. What you need to know about the Trump tax story: the husband and father, Mr. Trump, has been married 3 times. Though his most famous wife was his first, Ivana Zelnikova, a Czech athlete and model. The couple had 3 children, Donald Jr., Ivana, and Eric, before they filed for divorce in 1990. The ensuing court battle made for numerous stories in the tabloid press. Those stories included allegations that he was abusive towards Ivana, though she later downplayed the incidents. He married actress Marlo Maples in 1993. They had a daughter named Tiffany before divorcing in 1999. He married his current wife, Slovenian model Melania Knauss, in 2005, and the couple have 1 son, Baron William Trump. His children from his first marriage now help run Trump Organization, though he is still chief executive. Ivanka, his eldest daughter, followed her dad to the White House, where she and her husband, Jared Kushner, serve as senior advisors. The candidate Mr. Trump expressed interest in running for president as early as 1987, and even entered the 2000 race as a Reform Party candidate. After 2008, he became one of the most outspoken members of the birther movement, which questioned whether Barack Obama had been born in the U.S. Those claims have been thoroughly debunked. Mr. Obama was born in Hawaii. Mr. Trump finally admitted there was no truth to the claims, although, characteristically, there was no apology. It was not until June 2015 that Mr. Trump formally announced his entrance into the race for the White House. "We need somebody that literally will take this country and make it great again. We can do that," he said in his announcement speech, promising that as a candidate with no need to fundraise, he answered to no special interests and was the perfect outsider candidate. Under the banner "Make America Great Again," Mr. Trump ran a controversial campaign built on promises to strengthen the American economy, build a wall on the border of Mexico and the U.S., and to temporarily ban immigration by Muslims until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. Despite massive protests at his campaign events and the best efforts of his Republican rivals Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, Mr. Trump became the presumptive Republican Party nominee for president after the Indiana primary. The president, much like his candidacy, Donald Trump's presidency has been marked by drama and controversy. In January 2017, he signed his first executive order banning travel from 7 countries, most with Muslim majorities. The ban, decried as xenophobic by critics, has been upheld by the Supreme Court. Months later, he shocked Washington by firing FBI Director James Comey. The sudden dismissal was described as potentially obstructing justice in a subsequent report from special counsel Robert Mueller, which probed alleged collusion between the 2016 Trump campaign and Russia. The 2-year-long investigation did not establish criminal collusion. All you need to know about Trump-Russia story: soon after, Mr. Trump faced accusations that he had pressured a foreign government to dig up dirt on Democratic rival Joe Biden. The allegations prompted a Democratic-led impeachment inquiry, and Mr. Trump became just the 3rd U.S. president in history to be impeached. Trump celebrates acquittal and blasts rivals, but Mr. Trump has maintained his loyal base thanks to a number of campaign promises kept. Perhaps his most enduring legacy: nominating 3 right-wing justices to the Supreme Court, which will shape the country's policies for decades to come. Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to U.S. Supreme Court his 2020 election year has been dominated by the coronavirus pandemic. He has faced intense criticism for his handling of the crisis. As the U.S. leads the globe in deaths and